If I were to give my honest opinion, in this moment, Naruto Uzumaki is the strongest person in the whole world. What? How? Because unlike normal people, he harbors no love, only hate. With that being said, that was just a quick sneak peek into the video. This is just something that I'm going to be doing with a lot of... I just got tongue twisted there, it's okay. This is just something that I'm going to be doing with a lot of my recent videos. And maybe all the videos to come, depending on how I feel, or depending if there's just a moment in the series where, you know, that could act in a way like a trailer for the What If. Again, subscribe, as most of you guys aren't subscribed to the channel that are going to be watching this video. But if you are, then give the video a like or comment down below. With that being said, past Rami, for all of us, even the Rami that's speaking right now, is now going to continue off where I left. So, enjoy, sit back and relax, maybe get something to eat, do some schoolwork if you wish, or literally anything. And present Rami out. You may begin. Past Rami. Rami X back into a video. I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as that'd be deeply appreciated. And with that being said, we can now begin the video. To preface this, ancient. So the use of the word ancient. First off, this is obviously what if Naruto had an ancient-tailed beast. But if ancient in historical terms means to be in existence for over 1,400 years, then all of the normal-tailed beasts, for example, Shukaku, Manatabi, Isobu the 3 tails, Sengoku the 4 tails, Kokuo the 5 tails, Saiken the 6 tails, Chome the 7 tails, Yuki the 8 tails, and of course, our beloved 9 tails Kurama. That would make them all not ancient, though they have lived for quite some time. They're in the 700 to 1,000 range of age. So we're going to change the Naruto storyline just a bit here. There's going to be another 10 tails that's just roaming the earth. But instead of being turned into 9 living entities, as most of you should know, that the 10 tails are split up into multiple-tailed beasts, which are the 9-tailed beasts that roam the earth in the original Naruto timeline, at least as far as part 1 goes. But instead, this other tailed beast would not be split up at all. It would be just one entity, under the control of Hamura, Hagoromo's brother. So, for the sake of this what if, we'll say that they both possess the ability to control tailed beast, if you will. As such, Hamura has a seal over the tailed beast. This should make some sense. Basically, Hamura has control over the 10 tails. But it was never stated that Hagoromo, that Hagoromo's brother would be able to control a 10 tails, just as he had. But for this timeline, we're going to have to say that you can control a 10 tails if you're Hamura. With that being said, that's just going to have to happen for the sake of this what if. Hamura would name this tailed beast Okita, meaning awakened. This tailed beast would then be forced by Hamura to stand still, almost statue-like. Now, why would Hamura do this? Why would he make Okita just become almost statue-like? Well, the answer for that is actually quite simple. You see, Okita had been bringing great carnage and destruction, and, well, nearly everywhere he went, he brought great calamity. Even sometimes him just walking somewhere made the plants around him break down and decompose. And thus, during that time where he was statue-like, Okita would absorb nature energy. Eventually, he would resemble more of a tree rather than a tailed beast, but this process would take several hundred years. Anyhow, with that being said, this would also keep the tailed beast in line for the first 500 or so centuries before Okita started looking more like a tree instead of an actual tailed beast. Now, how would that keep them in line? Well, it's actually quite simple. It kept them in line because, well, it meant that, well, Hagoromo basically used it as a bedtime story. Except this bedtime story was a little bit let's just say, more realistic. He basically said, obviously, this is a bedtime story, so he's not actually saying that this stuff is real, but they've confirmed it for themselves as they, well, just have. With that being said, he would basically go on to always say, just to make sure that they didn't do any bad things, that if they did do any wrongdoings, that they would end up like Okita. With that being said, this would continue for centuries until Naruto was born. Naruto would be quote-unquote chosen by the Tailed Beast as the proper host, as they would latch on to Naruto. And the Tailed Beast already within Naruto, that being the Nine Tails. 10 years would pass, as the Tailed Beast would feel that Naruto's body was strong enough to detach from Kurama, finding a place within Naruto's subconscious to stay. Now, how does this work? That's probably what most of you are wondering. This video has taken a lot of explaining and not too much story, but I promise that I am, well, very close to the true story of this whatever. With that being said, how did Okita do this? It's actually quite simple. Okita had been still for nearly a millennia, if not even more than a millennia, meaning that he had been absorbing nature energy for several centuries. Eventually, Okita had left his physical form and become more akin to a spirit. So he inhabited Naruto's body and basically joined the seal with Kurama. But obviously, anybody with two-tailed beast in them would probably, well, die, even in Uzumaki like Naruto, and thus he attached himself to the subconscious of Kurama. As he would later detach from Kurama, once Naruto's body became strong enough, finding a place within Naruto's subconscious to stay. Although he made sure not to be, I guess you could say, letting off his own chakra, as that could also harm Naruto and weaken the seal. With that being said, Okita would stay there for 2 more years, as, well, obviously, 2 more years would pass. The events of the canon would unfold, as Naruto would learn the Shadow Clone Jutsu, pass the academy, after, well, many failed attempts, etc., etc. But we see this tailed beast affect Naruto eventually. The effects of the tailed beast would start to take place at the Land of Waves. Naruto, while at the Land of Waves, would fight Haku with Sasuke. Sorry for that long pause. As Sasuke would eventually sacrifice himself for Naruto, just like he had in the original timeline. I was going to say canon timeline, but really just the same thing. Naruto would then pause, as Sasuke would tell Naruto that it was all over. But to Naruto, everything had just begun. Everything around Naruto was muffled. He couldn't hear, and he began to, well, shake. His whole body began to shake vibrantly. Everything was muffled, dark, and even empty, as he didn't know what to do. His heart even skipped a beat, and his body felt numb, as he would start to shake even more. Naruto would begin to bite down on his own teeth, as he would scream as loud as he could. A dark wind would surround his body, as Haku could only watch what was happening. Had she awakened a beast within Naruto? Had this been the Leaf Village's Jinchuriki and she hadn't known? Naruto would then absorb this darkness that flowed around him, as it would slowly seep into his body. Naruto would then walk towards the wall of the ice mirrors, as the ancient-tailed beast known as Okita had awoken. It's been a while, Okita thought to himself. And this is the body that I'm in. Well, at least I ended up with somebody from Asura's line. Indra's line would have made things very hectic. What? Wait, you can hear me, Kurama? Of course I can hear you. Who are you? Tell me at once. Is there another that I share this body with? Ah, I see. You don't recognize my voice because we've actually never met before. I am Okita. No. What did you just say? I said Okita. But in this day and age, I guess you could just consider me to be an ancient tailed beast. No. That's impossible. How so? How does that happen to be impossible? We live in a world where people possess ocular dojutsu, can manifest water from thin air, and several other unorthodox things that should, well, in theory, be impossible. So tell me, how does this seem impossible? Well, I would believe your story, maybe, if it was true. Who's to say I'm lying? It's just you and I here. Kyubi. Or should I call you by your real name? Kurama, the Nine-Tails Fox. Curse you. How? I need to know how. How are you here? It would take hours to explain to you the full story, so I'll sum it up in a few lines. Several centuries ago, Hamura, the brother to Hagoromo, decided that I had caused too much trouble. Everywhere I went, it seemed to be, well, to put it lightly, great calamity. And thus, he froze me. Not indefinitely within time, but he placed a chakra seal on me that enabled my movements. Of course, nobody at that time besides, well, Hagoromo or Hamura or even the several-tailed beast, such as your brothers and sisters, I don't know, Sobu or Chome, none others could break the seal, and thus nobody did. Indra, upon his birth, was, well, too young to even know who I was, and, well, eventually he died, and nobody else was strong enough to break the seal. Asura obviously would never because of the weird auras emanating off of my body, but at that point I had, well, let's just say by the time that anybody was strong enough again to break the seal, I had resembled much more of a tree rather than any tailed beast. I remember. Back in those days, the sage, he what, told you bedtime stories to freak you out? That's almost what I was gonna say. He told us that if we didn't behave, that we would end up like Okita. And now, I'm just meeting you. So it's nice to meet you, Okita. Cut the crap. I don't want to hear it from you. You know, I don't know what that... No, I'm just kidding. I know exactly where that sound came from. That was a computer sound. I'm extremely sorry if that cut your focus, but I digress. I see. I see through the facades. Your fur, I can see it. Though my vision is, well, let's just say very, very weak at this point. I can notice the small difference in its glow. As if you've already retreated. Shall I absorb you, Kurama? Absorb me? You can do that? Well, in a worst-case scenario, I would have to. Or else this ability would, well, to say the least, be null. If I could easily be overpowered by another force within somebody's body, then who's to say that the normal subconscious of, well, Naruto Uzumaki wouldn't be able to defeat me himself? Obviously, I can absorb one or two people or things. So, Kurama, today do we fight? I have many more questions for you. I would prefer not to fight until you have answered all of them. You will lose that battle, Kyubi. Is that so? Yes, more than positive. Well, only time will tell. With that, we now switch back to real reality, instead of Naruto's subconscious mind. Okita now had a direct line of communication to Naruto. I am a tailed beast. My name is Okita. What's a tailed beast? And where am I? It's so dark, everything hurts. I will explain later. But let me control your body, just for a moment. I can't do that. Well then I shall lend you some of my chakra. Please use it as you please and as you wish to. Though the strain of my power might be too much for a boy like you. Boy like me, huh? Well, I'll show you that I won't give up. I'll control the power of the Okita. I'm not an it. I am a thing, an entity. I actually identify as a male, whether or not it matters at this point. I don't care what you identify as long as you give me the power I desire. Well, I've never heard wiser words. The darkness around Naruto would begin to eat away at the Kyubi chakra within him, as Naruto's red Kyubi eyes would turn to that of a black Kyubi eye. Kurama would take notice of this, as he would acknowledge fully the presence of this unknown being who, well, he had come to find out was Okita. Okita and Kurama would continue to speak to one another. You do know that this seal was intended for me, and not the ancient hell beast known as Okita. I'm well aware of that, and I will make the necessary precautions, if I must. Fine, then let us come to an agreement. Have you reconsidered your words? Telling me that you would be able to overpower me is what you said, if I'm not mistaken. I have reconsidered what I said, not my words. All right, I am here to listen. Well, to put it lightly, you can stay. Huh? Oh, I would have stayed either way, but go on. Do not get arrogant with me. Continue, Ninetales. But on one condition. This brat, his body is actually quite important. To you or to the village that he lives in? To me. Or rather, to both. Quite the predicament you found yourself in, is that so? Yes, that is so. A predicament in which you, well, to put it simply, know nothing of, right? Sure. Well, let's again put this simply. I am Okita. I do not take orders. I do not abide by others' rules. And I am my own person. Huh? How about a different deal? What? What other deal? I have given you your stakes. You haven't even let me finish. Let me at least begin to explain to you this other option. Fine. Go on, speak. It's simple, but I'm not sure if you're up for it, QB. What is your plan? Propose it to me already. It's quite simple in nature. You, Kurama, you will no longer have the presence of me within you. Huh? Naruto currently fights with my chakra against this Haku person. I forgot that you can see what he does too. Yes, of course I can. After all, in this moment, it is my chakra that flows through Naruto. Not yours, Kurama. Think of me as your predecessor. And maybe that would give you a better example of where I stand. And where you stand in comparison. Well then, in this case, it would just be the student surpassing the master, would it not? Oh, no, no, no. You did not let me finish my sentence. Now imagine that this student, quote-unquote, has just been taken in as an apprentice. And this is their first training session. That is the difference between Okita and Kurama. Kurama looked down to the ground as he began to get goosebumps. It seems that I'm letting far too much power of mine seep off. I believe that I must restrain myself. Or what? What could happen in the case that you didn't restrain yourself? I could do heinous things. Oh, and did I forget to mention I could... Well, Naruto could outright implode. What? You mean the Jinchuriki could die? Easily. And it wouldn't just be death, like how extracting a bijou is. It would be death in the way that, well, to put it lightly, Naruto would combust, his body would explode from the inside out. And I would assume that all would, well, his body would implode into nothingness. And the only thing that would be left of Naruto Uzumaki would be, well, blood. What? And you did not mention that to me earlier? I did, but you weren't paying attention, QB. Now, I believe that all is well. But, like I said, I have a plan. To split myself from this host. Huh? How would that even work? Now, it would be very, very long to explain to you. So, I will be shortening it by quite a bit. I will take each and every ounce of Naruto's hatred. And what would that do? Well, upon taking all of Naruto's hatred, I will duplicate his body. You're gonna duplicate his body? How would you even duplicate one's body? It's actually quite simple. What? What's that? What symbol? I suppose that my tongue is not adequate for the language that we speak now. I believe that the right word in these times is simple. It's actually quite simple. Naruto has a select amount of atoms within his body. All I will be doing is splitting the atoms in half. I will then go on to duplicate the body using Naruto's own DNA. Although with a twist, his hatred. So, Naruto will have a complete carbon copy of his body. How? How many times must I explain this? Anyways, there may be unforeseen changes to his body. I'm not sure though. It would be small characteristics like his maybe hair, for instance. Besides that, he would be a counter opposite to Naruto. So does that mean that Naruto would only have love? No, not necessarily. I believe that due to the fact that I've inhabited his body for so long, some of my chakra will remain, how do I say this, dormant within him? Your chakra will remain dormant within Naruto? Precisely. What? It is a simple thing to understand. Similarly to how, if, I don't know, you were never giving Naruto chakra, some of the Kyuubi chakra would still be within him. In some ways. I see. And what would that chakra do? Well, if Naruto is ever threatened, then the chakra may come out. And I'm talking near death. I see. A defense mechanism. Well, if Naruto ceases to exist, so does the carbon copy. How does that work? Well, Naruto still bears hatred. I would never be able to remove hatred from somebody fully. So, the hatred that Naruto still carries acts as an invisible tie to, well, my version of Naruto. I see. That actually makes sense. Of course it does. Why wouldn't it? You see, I knew you were smart. Very much so have the, well, age required to be smart. So you're calling me old when you're, what, double my age? Actually, I'd say I'm only a few centuries older than you. But be it as it may, it does not matter. Now, we can further our talk at some other time. It seems that Naruto is getting, well, hungry. Naruto's body continued to shake as he rushed towards Haku. Haku dodged right before Naruto could slam his fist into the ice mirrors. But Naruto's eyes, they were faster. They spotted Haku immediately, and, well, with his advanced speed, he quickly advanced towards Haku at speeds that Haku had never foreseen. Actually, at speeds that Haku had never seen in his entire life. It was then that Naruto raised his fist, whilst in midair, black chakra flowing off of his body, which gave him an effect of flying. Relish this moment, as it means that I hold your life in my hands. And so what I do with it? Well, never mind. Naruto would slam his fist into the ice mirrors, as Haku would be sent flying out of them, and the ice mirrors would completely shatter the moment that Naruto's hand grazed the ice mirrors. Well now. I suppose that was overkill, wasn't it, Chroma? Ukita, nothing is overkill with you. And that voice. Naruto doesn't have a voice like that. Is that his hatred speaking? Hatred is in us all. Yes, it is his hatred speaking. It's just not closeted by emotions of love. What's that supposed to mean? Well, it means that Naruto, in this moment, holds love for nothing and no one. I believe he may not even care for himself. But if he does care for himself, then that speaks to Naruto's will. In this moment, I would presume that Naruto is the strongest person. In the whole world. What are you? No. With that being said, this is where I'm going to take a quick pause. It is just to say, if you've made it this far into the video, thank you. I appreciate every single minute that you spend on this video. And if you keep watching, then give yourself a pat on the back, because most of my viewers do not get this far. Anyways, I hope you guys all have enjoyed this video, and, well, no need to stop now. What's happening? It's me. Naruto could barely breathe as the hatred began to take him over. Okita. Yes, Kurama. What is happening to him? As in, what is happening to Naruto? Who else would I be talking about? The hatred that consumes him is the hatred that you can find within him. The hatred that is currently within him is, well, consuming him, as I, well, just stated. Is that so? Yes, indeed it is. You see, the darkness within Naruto is fighting the love. And if Naruto loses this battle, then, well, I will have the means to detach from him. Do you really think that detaching from Naruto would be the best option? Well, you wouldn't want me as your roommate forever, would you? No, I would not. Well, then there's your answer. It's the best thing for both of us. What will you do, Okita? Well, for starters, experience life. Sure, being a ninja, you can make many enemies. So I'll be a mercenary that lives life to the fullest. And sure, they'll spread tales about me. There is currently a plane flying over where I'm recording. So if you hear that and you hear that, I'm very sorry if it cut you off from listening, but it is what it is. It is since now past, so I may continue. With that, I expect that you will try not to make a name for yourself. Oh no, I'll make a name for myself as Okita. But you know people will confuse you as Naruto, right? Well, maybe. But I suppose to just disable all confusion, I'll just go by Naruto. What? Why would you do that? Why not? Because I can. I haven't been able to do anything in the past 1,000 years. Taking this liberty is like me picking, I don't know, one small piece of string out of a pile of thousands of string. See how small that is? I'll go by Naruto, and I will wreak havoc. I will absorb those who fight against me. What? You can... Well, as a full Jinchuriki, I'll be able to do a lot of things. Anyhow, I believe that Naruto is on his course to losing to hatred. Ah! Please. Body, don't help me. Why would you not submit yourself for the hatred yourself? The hatred? What exactly are you talking about? Hatred is in all of us, Naruto. Even you should know that. It is in you, us, me. You're not me, and you will never be me, ever. I don't know what you are and why you're doing this, but I will fight it, and I will not lose. Body, please do not fail me. It seems, in the end, love was too weak. And I suppose that hatred won. Should I be taking my leave now? Oh wait, shall I be taking my leave now? Is more grammatically right. What if you... Before you leave... Yes, what is that? You said you chose Naruto. Why? I'm not sure why. Could be a number of reasons. Maybe because he's the reincarnation of Asura. Or maybe because he's a descendant of the bloodline. Or maybe even because... I don't know. Because Naruto is one who has a high amount of hatred. To be frank with you, I'm not sure why he was selected. But he is the perfect vessel, isn't he? A strong body, Uzumaki, descendants, and closely related to the Senju, which are also descendants of what? Asura's bloodline. We have an immense amount of love, because again, descendants of Asura's bloodline. And oh, did I mention the fact that, well, he's pure-hearted? At core, that is. Well, how does that make him a perfect vessel? Oh, should I explain it deeper? Love. Naruto's full of love. But before he even became, well, 10 years old, he had been berated by the whole entire village, I'd assume. He is a Jinchuriki, after all. Jinchurikis have never been famed or regarded as joyous. They have been hated. And so, Naruto was the perfect vessel because he harbored an immense amount of love, whilst also harboring a greater amount of hate. I see. That makes sense to me now. Well now, I will be detaching at once. Black smoke once more surrounded Naruto's body. As Kakashi, had now just finished killing Zabuza, he realized the massive amount of chakra surrounding Naruto, and would rush forward towards him at once. It would be then, upon reaching Naruto, that Naruto's hand would reach for Kakashi. Kakashi-sensei, help me, please. What's happening here, Naruto? I need to know. What is this? It's Naruto's hate. All of it. Naruto's hand, or what appeared to be Naruto's hand, which wasn't really, would outstretch towards Kakashi, pulling him closer and closer into the darkness. You believe that you can win? This struggle of wills, Kakashi Hatake. You believe that you have greater hatred or love than Naruto? Because that would be what you would have to have if you wished to win this struggle. That would be true. But the body flicker jutsu is, well, it comes in handy whenever you need it. Touche, Hatake Kakashi. With that, the smoke would disappear, and with it, Naruto. Upon Naruto's body turning into mere smoke, Kakashi did not know what to do. So he sat there, baffled baffled by what had just happened. It would be then that Kakashi would turn his back as he saw Naruto's hand. Naruto's hand, orange jumpsuit and all, reaching out into quite literally air itself, as if coming from a different dimension. What had happened was Naruto had been warped into a dimension that was quite literally controlled by Okita. He controlled the whole dimension, and it would be there that his body was duplicated and split. Now, what is the difference between Naruto and Okita, as we're going to be referring to Naruto's other body as Okita? Well, the difference is that Okita has, a visible fang coming from his mouth. His eyes are black instead of blue, as well as his hair, and his whiskers are much more defined on his face. With that being said, that is the main difference besides, obviously strength. Now, I said that Naruto, when, he was being accessed by Okita, was the strongest person ever in the world, right? At that time. Not ever in history, but, he was the strongest person that's alive, right? Well, that is true as Naruto's host body, but due to the fact that he is duplicated from Naruto, Okita only has half of his true power. And, let's just say it was enough to suffice. Okita's first act in Naruto's body would, I guess rather not Naruto's body, but Okita's first act in his own body would be sending Naruto back to the real world, as he would travel much, much, much further to a place much closer to where he was born. With that being said, he traveled to the location of himself. Now, for some of those who remember, at the start of the video, I spoke of how Hagoromo froze Okita in his body using a chakra seal. And so, Okita now would begin to free his body from that seal. Although this process was, very time straining. It would take hours, days, and weeks, and maybe even, months or years to break the seal that Hamura had created, especially in a new vessel. So he would begin to train. And, he saw training in the regular aspect of the word as very boring. So instead, he would fight people as a mercenary, just as he told Kurama he would do. That he would be a mercenary and, gather a name for himself. Now, he didn't intend on bringing along a name or legend associated with him, but it just naturally came. He defeated many ninja, several strong, high-class ninja. Chunin, Jonin, Genin, Special Jonin, Anbu, and he even tangled with some Kage level ninja, like Zabuza Momochi and Haku Yuki. Although this Haku is, well, a little bit stronger, and, well, this Zabuza is, well, a little bit stronger as well. Now, some of you may be like, oh, Rami X, plot hole. No, not plot hole. How is Zabuza alive? That is a plot hole. No, it's not. Because I did not yet explain it. So, I told you how Kakashi dealt with Zabuza. No, I didn't mean dealt as in, like, killed Zabuza. I meant dealt as in, like, beat him. Basically, Zabuza has been immobilized at this time. Defeated by Kakashi Hatake. Kakashi would spare Zabuza on the note that he would leave with Haku, and, well, Zabuza did that. Now they continue to make names for themselves in the ninja world to, well, of course, try and get revenge against the fourth Mizukage, Yagura. Although those efforts are mostly futile. With that being said, he would tangle with many ninja, and every single one was the same. He beat and killed every single one. It didn't matter how strong or how fast they were, what jutsu they had. Okita decimated each and every single one of them. He was a force to be reckoned with. With that being said, back to Naruto. As Naruto would begin to basically travel back into the real world, Kakashi would force the process to be sped up, pulling Naruto's hand. As Naruto had come out, drenched in sweat, with his hair now down, he panted heavily. Higashi-sensei. Oh, am I happy to see you. Believe me, I have spent days waiting to see you. What are you talking about? It's only been a few minutes since you were last here. Really? Yeah? Well, then the time there must be drastically different. After the possession of Okita, Naruto seemed to have an advanced level of intelligence, far beyond his regular happy-go-lucky and sometimes dumbfounded expressions and, well, regular normal self. He now seemed to have prowess on things that were far beyond his, well, let's just say reach, to put it simply. With that being said, Naruto then identified that wherever he went must have been a form of time-space ninjutsu, and he was basically in a time-space ninjutsu, or rather a time-space dimension, that had a much more expanded time. And thus, that explained exactly why it felt like days instead of just a few minutes. With that, Naruto then stood up. I wouldn't want to be there for too long. If a few minutes was several days there, then, well, I could be there for a year and not much time could pass here. That would suck. Naruto scratched the back of his head, trying to let off a small smile. Well, Kakashi, at least me, you, and I think Sakura as well as Tazuna are in top shape. Are you sure? The last time I saw you, you were riddled with senbon. Oh, those? I don't know what happened to them, but they're gone now, and I'm fine. Good as new, even. Naruto was healed of all injuries. Well, I'm glad to hear it, Naruto. Now, get Sasuke. We're heading home. Really? Yep. We finished the bridge, so we have no reason to be here anymore. Aren't you gonna, like, demand higher pay from Tazuna? Naruto. Yes, Kakashi-sensei. Tazuna's peoples are struggling. They barely have enough money to make the bridge, let alone pay us. We'll take what we were given, report back to Lord Third exactly what happened, and, well, he'll take it from there. Is he gonna penalize the Land of Waves? No. He may even give them new trade. Well, I guess that would only help the village, so why not? Don't you think after a long battle, you get tired? Yeah, what about it, Kakashi-sensei? Well, I'm tired and you're not at all. That leads me to believe that you might have more chakra than even I do. Much more. Me, with more chakra than my sensei? That doesn't even make sense, but, well, I'll take the compliment. It's not a compliment if it's a fact. Agree to disagree. Agree to disagree. With that, Kakashi, Sasuke, Sakura, and, well, that's just about it, would walk back to the Land of Waves. I knew I put a comma there because I meant to say Tazuna. With that being said, they all walked back to the Land of Waves. As from there, they would rest and then go back to the Leaf Village the next day. Upon arriving at the Leaf Village, nearly 4 hours later, they gave a full and in-depth report to Lord Third, as Naruto did not include any facts about Okita. What he did mention, though, was that he was pulled into some strange dimension, and that he then saw his body duplicated. But when asked by Hiruzen where this other Naruto went, well, Naruto was at a loss of words. He couldn't remember a single thing after seeing himself. Hiruzen shrugged it off. It was probably just some sort of hallucination from a stressful day, a stressful battle, especially on such a young kid. Well, that was the only modest explanation for what happened. Any other explanation would be, well, a little bit crazy to think of. And thus, Hiruzen didn't want to even speculate. With that being said, the tuning exams were closely approaching, as Naruto knew this, and thus he prepared for the tuning exams. Now we're going to skip right over the tuning exams. Nothing really important happens here. Naruto goes on and wins exactly how he did on the cannon. Just with Kiba, he's a lot stronger in this fight. It's not really explained how, but this is in part due to the fact that Okita had his body as a vessel for an elongated amount of time and had just left. So chakra residue was all over. What I mean by that is, well, Okita was in Naruto's body for, a decade? And, a lot of that chakra stayed within Naruto. Not for him to access outright, but it did mix with his own chakra reserves, making them stronger, which also improved his own strengths and, lessened some of his own weaknesses. With that being said, as for the Forest of Death, upon coming in contact with Orochimaru, Naruto wastes no time establishing the difference in their power, as Orochimaru actually begins to take an interest in Naruto, feeling an ominous chakra that, comes off of him. A chakra that is not the same as the Nine-Tails chakra. A chakra that is, more monstrous, more cunning than the Nine-Tails' chakra. As well, Orochimaru knows what a Biju's chakra feels like. He has met Gaara. With that being said, Orochimaru would, eventually leave. Unable to place a curse mark on Sasuke, he leaves, setting out to return another day. But he knew that next time he would have to return with the Sound 5. With that being said, several more days would pass as we now skip to after the tuning exams. So what happens after the tuning exams? Obviously, the Sound and Sand are going to go about their, invasion, but they are mostly halted by the Leaf Ninja. Orochimaru being preoccupied and his vessel almost dead in this timeline due to Naruto, he doesn't actually go after Lord Third. And, thus Lord Third is saved with, well, him having to participate in battle, but this time not with someone like Orochimaru, this time instead with several sound father that were not strong at all or really put up a fight for, well, the third Hokage. With that being said, it would be then, whilst on a mission with all of Team 7 actually, that Naruto saw Okita for the first time since the Land of Waves. They locked eyes, and Okita immediately knew. But at this point, he had already absorbed some of his former self. So he's much stronger than Naruto at this point. It would be then that Naruto and Okita would clash. But unfortunately, what both of them hadn't realized, although Okita was a little bit more knowledgeable on the topic, if Okita and Naruto with duplicate bodies were to clash, that could bring about great calamity, greater than anything the Earth has ever experienced. For the doppelgangers to meet, well, in this case, the artificial doppelgangers to meet, would cause a mass destruction. Although Okita was aware of this, he believed that he could end Naruto's life in a single clash, and thus, Naruto, drawing upon the chakra of the Nine Tails with all of its might, and Okita with, well, his own power, of course, would clash with Naruto. Upon their clash, reality began to distort itself, as it would quite literally begin to crack. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but basically the world around them was, well, quite literally cracking. There's no other way to put it. It was breaking the time-space area that they were in. They were distorting reality with their mere strength and power. With that, eventually, the power that was being emitted off of both of them grew so large that light began to grow around them. But it wasn't as if it was circling them or going around them or, well, you get the point. It was as if it was creating a person, a being. Eventually, the being became whole as he presented himself as Mizu. I'm Mizu. And you must be Okita. Huh? I'm not Okita, Naruto said, continuing his clash, as Mizu would gently shake his head. Nope, I wasn't talking about you. The black-haired guy that looks exactly like you. That's Okita. Am I mistaken? No. Right as we speak currently, there are mass calamities happening around the world because of you and Okita's clash. I'm assuming that you are an artificial doppelganger. Or were you born with Okita looking exactly like you? I think I'm artificial. Okita duplicated my body and now he uses it as some sort of meat suit for his power. Interesting. Okita's pretty knowledgeable. Do you happen to be a reincarnation of Indra or Asura? I don't even know who those people are. Well, are you an Uzumaki by any chance? Never mind. My question was answered. What's wrong? Mizu, I think was your name? Just focus on holding your clash with Okita. You see, the talk that they're having is actually happening subconsciously and not physically. But I'd like to know more. The pain you felt. Why? Why did you feel that pain all of a sudden? Oh, Quite simple, actually. When I come into contact, or rather close contact with, a Jinchuriki, my pain gets a painfully tingling sensation. Or rather, my palm gets a painfully tingling sensation. I see. So I'd assume that you're Nuzumaki, or Senju. I'm a Nuzumaki. Alrighty. That explains why Okita chose you. I'm sure there's a number of other reasons. But your chakra, it's so similar to that of Asura. Anyways, I have a question, Mizu. Go ahead, ask away. We have unlimited time here. No matter how many seconds or minutes are unfolding in real time. What is your question? Who are you? And why did you come into existence upon me and Okita clashing? I am Mizu of the Rain. A long, long time ago, Hagoromo split the 10 tails into 9 different beasts. You're probably not familiar with that, but if you are, well, it doesn't really matter. Hamura took his own 10 tails as Okita and froze it in time. It's theorized that he did not have the power to split Okita up into 9 different beings. And so, he froze Okita. I can't even tell you what the real answer is because I was created by Hagoromo and Hamura. What? Hagoromo supplied the chakra, and Hamura used some weird ability granted by his dojutsu. I think it was the Tensegon? I know, bad of me to forget the eye that created me. But he used that, and thus I was created. Through quite literally light. You see, Hagoromo possessed most Kekkei, and at that time, well, light was one of the many jutsu that Hagoromo possessed. I believe that that light was turned into multiple different Kekkei in future. Currently, right? Maybe. But there's also darkness. I don't know, let's say the Nara clan's shadow possession jutsu. Anyways. Alongside Okita, I was frozen in time. Now, Hamura knew that, well, he couldn't just judge Okita, because that would be biased. He couldn't just make the decision that Okita was a bad person, that Okita would destroy things and bring about calamity, even if he had done it in the past. So, by the off chance that Okita ever escaped, I would only come through if Okita caused a mass calamity. If Okita brought great peril to the world. And so, I began my creation as a small light orb several months ago, when Okita first began to, well, bring about calamity. For you, that would have been when you were in the country of the land of waves, fighting against, what are their names? Zabuza and Haku. Haku, the Yuki clan member with the ice release, and Zabuza, the demon of the mist, with the executioner's blade. It was then that for the first time Okita controlled your body and brought about calamity. And so, I was manifested into reality for the first time in more than 1,000 years. What? Yeah, cool stuff, right? Anyways, I was later, well, to put it lightly, rebirthed And I became whole again when Okita clashed with you. And thus I stand before you as Mizu of the Rain. I have another question. Well, don't let me stop you from asking. What is it? How what? How are you going to beat Okita? Who the hell said I could beat that guy? I would wager that in 2 minutes that guy would kill me, gut and bow. He would destroy me. No, he would utterly obliterate me. I'm no fool. You think I could survive against Okita? In a vessel? What do you think I am? The Sage of Six Paths? Hamura? Kaguya? Indra and Asura? No! I am Mizu of the Rain. I do not possess such abilities that would be able to kill Okita, okay? Let's get that out of the way. So this is a losing battle? And me and you are just gonna die fighting? Hey, raise your head up. It's not that bad, is it? It is that bad. I can do nothing. Nothing at all. Tonight, this sucks. Hey, if your emotions falter here, then in your clash with Okita, he might just get the upper hand on you, no matter how much Nine Tails chakra you're pulling on. I understand. So I'll die today. Oh my, you fool. Maybe you should listen to me. I wasn't finished talking. As I explained, Hagoromo and Hamura created me. Now, why do you think Hamura created me in the first place? I don't know. I've never met the guy. I don't know why he wanted to create something or somebody like you. First of all, I'm a somebody, not a something. Don't call me it. Next, he created me because in the off chance, like I put and said earlier, maybe you should be listening to my words. In the case that Okita was to be let out, I would stop him. Now, I cannot kill a beast on the level of the Ten Tails. Oh, no. But what I can do is stop Okita. What? It's an ancient sealing jutsu that is programmed into the fiber of my being. To kill Okita is not something it does. Its purpose is to seal away Okita. But there's one problem. What? On top of the fact that upon doing so, I will cease to exist once more. I have to find a place to store the chakra of Okita. Something strong enough. And as it stands, you are the only person strong enough to contain him. So you're saying that I have to take on Okita once more? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying that you must triumph and defeat Okita. You two will have a battle within your minds. And if you are to fail, Okita will what? Your body will become Okita's domain for the rest of eternity. Okay, do it. As it stands, I'm not nearly strong enough to defeat Okita, even in my duplicate body. So if it means that I must take him on and take him into my body, I will do that. No matter the cost. I'm glad that we had this conversation, Naruto. But I don't believe that your subconscious is strong enough to defeat a being like Okita. No matter how much will or strength you have. So what the hell am I supposed to do? I'm being told that Okita brings about mass calamity, that right now my friends might be in danger, that people all across the globe are being killed because of my clash with Okita in this moment. I am being told that no matter what I do, no matter what I try, I will be beaten by Okita. No matter physical or subconscious, no matter if he is using my body as a meat bag, or no matter if I am being used as a meat bag myself. It doesn't matter, because everything I'm being told is that I will die, that I will cease to live, that I will be beaten by Okita, no matter what I do to survive. And so, what am I supposed to do? Because I will not just sit and wait for myself to be killed. I have dreams, I have goals, I want to be the Hokage, goddammit. So tell me, what can I do? Well, again, Naruto, you didn't let me finish. Well, what were you gonna say? The obvious, that I can't beat Okita? No. None of the sort. I was gonna say that I will offer up my own subconscious. And when you give in, when there's nothing left within you, I'll be there. To save you from the deepness and darkness of the abyss. I will save you from Okita. I swear to you that, Naruto. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mizu of the Rain. No problem. Mizu let off a tear that quickly evaporated into nothingness and within Naruto's subconscious, as they quickly shifted back to reality. You. What's that, Okita? You're the one's presence. Within the darkness when I was sealed away, there was one small light orb. It was so small. But if I squinted my eyes, I could see it, just for a fraction of a second. It was you, wasn't it? Well, at least your hypotheses are correct. It was me, within all of that darkness. You're the one thing that allowed me to keep hold of my own insanity. I know, but I wish I wasn't there, because maybe through it all you would have become sane, instead of continuing to be insane. Isn't being insane in my very nature? I believe as a creation of the world around us, you do not know what your nature is, Okita. Bold of you to assume that I am of this world. I do not care where you're from. Today is the day that you... What, did I cease to perish? That I cease to exist? What? You think I'm scared of you? No, I don't think you're scared of me at all. With that, Okita and Naruto's clash came to an end, as all that could be seen was smoke coming from both of their hands. Those hand signs, what are they? They're the hand signs of the sun and moon. Now, light, dark, converse, and seal away the great being, Okita, created and sealed within time by Homura. Seal him away to die! A light beam would surround Okita as his darkness would begin to fight. All that could be seen now was the cloudy dark smoke of Okita's form and Mizu's light. You believe that this puniness could defeat me? Really? I am Okita. I will not be beaten by mere light. Quite the contrary. You will be defeated by this light. Now, seal away, never to be seen again. Are you a fool? There is nowhere you can send me. There is not a single confinement in this world or the next that can hold my being. You fool. No. The containment for you lies right before you. Now, Naruto, I request of you a single act. Yes, anything, Mizu. What do you need? You must run into the light and dark, sacrificing your soul. What? Just do it. Just do it for the sake of us all. And if you win, you will become yourself again. Completely yourself again. Fine. Fine, I'll do it. Whatever it takes. No matter what. Ah! Naruto would run into the shadowy light abyss, being consumed by the whirlwind. And now he would fight Okita. Okita, why? Why are we even fighting? Can't you just bug off and leave me alone? Can't you just die? I don't want to die, Naruto. I have been trapped for more than 1,000 years. I want to experience life, and I will not let anything get in my way of that. What have you done? I think you're forgetting that this is my reality, that we are in my subconscious. I control this! Naruto would begin to pummel Okita. Over and over again, he slammed his fist into Okita's face, slamming him, throwing him, pushing him, punching him, kicking him, even using many of the jutsus that he has learned to beat Okita. It would be then that the inevitable eventually happened, that Okita's will became stronger than Naruto's own. And so, when Okita finally surrendered, as he believed that Naruto was too weak to continue, that his mind had already shattered into nothingness, it was then that Mizu's subconscious allowed Naruto to rise forth and defeat Okita. It was now that Okita laid flat on the ground, with Naruto standing over his body. We live in a world, Okita, where beings like you exist, where boys like me exist, and where life exists, where darkness exists, where light exists. But no matter what world we are in, you will never, ever cause calamity again. Okay. Huh. What do you mean, okay? Okay. I understand now. I was born evil. And you broke that. I broke what? You broke the feeling. You shattered me. Huh? You broke my will. And for some reason, the darkness of my heart is gone. Several centuries ago, I believed I hadn't even had a heart. But now I can feel it beating. Can you hear it, Naruto? Can you hear my heart? Please tell me it's not just my imagination. I can hear it. Your heart, Okita. I submit to your will, Naruto. And I will never ever bring harm to you or anyone you love. Thank you. Now you must absorb me. You must take me on into your body. Or who knows, I might just cause calamity again. The way you're talking, it's almost as if you just fool me and then turn evil again. All over again, I guess. Yeah, I know. I was joking, though. If my soul was let back out into the world, I wouldn't cause calamity. But on my own, I could. Because without a vessel, my chakra would run rampant. And do all sorts of things, who knows what. Understood? Come on. Come over here. I'll absorb you right into my body. Maybe you'll even share the same seal with Kurama. That actually doesn't sound too bad. And with a final battle roar, Naruto had absorbed Okita into his body. And happily ever after, Naruto would go on to later marry who would become the love of his life, which is in this timeline still Hinata. And many of the events in the canon would unfold the same as far as Naruto becoming Hokage. He would be crowned, or rather named, Lord Seventh, and the Leaf would have peace. Actually, all 5 great nations would have peace. As for the other threats, Obito knew that he was no match for Naruto, especially with the vessel of Okita. And so he never chose to attack. Although he did do certain things to try to overthrow Naruto's rule, nothing came of it. And Naruto later found Obito, killing him. Kakashi never figures out that Obito's still alive. And, well, any of the timeline changes in ways. Sasuke still marries Sakura, although reluctantly. And Naruto is free and happy. And so is Okita. With that being said, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. This is actually a video that was supposed to come out like a year ago. Like a year and a half ago. Like literally that long ago. It was supposed to come out. But it didn't. I really can't say why. It just didn't happen. But yeah, it's happening now. And I hope you guys did enjoy What If Naruto Had an Ancient Tailed Beast. I think I put a pretty good spin on this What If. I think what made me not want to do it was after I created the thumbnail, I saw that somebody else made the video. I can't remember who right now. But yeah, it was an original concept I came up with. I wanted to do it. I kind of got pushed off because somebody else made it, and that video did well, and so I didn't want to kind of try and steal their thunder, and now I'm uploading it today. So I hope that it was received well. And if you don't watch this on the day it's uploaded, that's fine. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Share the video to a friend who likes this or just anime content in general. I love you all, and I hope you guys all had an amazing Thanksgiving. Personally, I do not live in America, so I don't really know anything about American Thanksgiving, but I know in Canada when we have Thanksgiving, which is around, which is in like October, it's beautiful. So yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed your Thanksgivings, and if you guys are on Thanksgiving break while you listen to this or watch this, then you guys deserve that break. With that being said, this has been Rami X, and join my Discord server in the description down below, and Rami X, out.